talking about this for like 15 minutes and complaining about it. We all really enjoy this game.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're saying don't use Adobe, use DaVinci, and then when I ask a single question, you're like, well, I've never used it. However,
No,
But it's okay. The guys in the graphic T-shirts and that say Sriracha on them will help this. You guys ever like have to do something?
like,
no,
yeah,
I never have to do anything.
Like you ever like
I've never done a thing in my life.
So let me hit you with this instead. You ever like get offered? Someone's like, "Hey, would you be able to do like this thing?" And you're like, I really don't want to, but I got no reason to say no."
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, all the time.
And then have you ever had that thing then balloon into something that you never expected it to be and is just like way too much,
oh yeah.
And then
but it's too late now?
literally every
Okay,
time I work
it's
on an edit ever.
It's a classic experience. It's part of the human condition.
Mhm.
I, the other day, was messaged by my boss, and he was like, "Hey, I know it's super last minute. Can you go to this this event tonight? It's like a charity thing. You don't have to do much. Just show up for a few minutes. Nothing formal. You know, just pop on the shirt with the company logo on it and take some pictures of the mascot." And I was like, "Yeah, I can do that. Not a problem." So I
Smash
went
cut, it
out and
was a
I
problem.
did that. It wasn't even a problem. It was actually like an overall pretty good experience. But you know, I went out there to take some photos. You know, thinking I'd be there for just a few minutes, get a couple shots, send them through for social media, head home. Turns out after like I'm almost ready to leave, and then they're like, the people organizing it are like, "Hey, we don't have an announcer for this game. Can you just can you by chance announce it? Everyone else has flaked on us."
What the fuck?
It is one of those things where I was like, I already was just not feeling that day.
No.
Just having like a rough day. Didn't really want to be out in the first place. Volunteered last minute, and I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna announce this game, I guess, because I was like, I don't have it's a children's hospital charity event.
Oof. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
What monster would be like, nah, I want to go home? So you know, I stayed, and it was fun. But that was my day the other day.
I feel that. I feel that actually like on an emotional level.
Yeah, it was like, man, it's exhausting, but also like kind of fun.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad time.
I'm not gonna say I
it's
did a
just-
good job,
Well,
but
yeah.
I did a job, and no one else was willing to do a job at all. So
Gotta get them brownie points.
yeah, they were. Well, the thing is, it wasn't even like.
It wasn't even for your job. It was like
Yeah.
for the people who had invited your job to show up, which is low key the wild part.
Exactly. And I was like, well, all right. And then of course, you know, it's a hockey game, and everyone, not everyone, a lot of people who play hockey are, I don't like, not necessarily foreign, but you know, Canadian,
Yeah.
French Canadian, Finnish, Russian. And these aren't all professional hockey players. A lot of them are actually like doctors and affiliates of like the hospital. It's really like cool. None of them had names that were easy to pronounce. There was no pronunciation list, and I had to try and make them
no.
out on the back of jerseys as they're going around. And I'm like, oh my, it's fine.
That's
Oh, no.
insane. Oh no.
That would
Yeah,
have been
so
the
it
part
was
that,
just
that
like
would have been the
a
part
ton
that
of
broke
stress.
me.
But it was honestly pretty cool. It was fun, and you knew it was like it was definitely a super official event because I was in the announcer booth, and it was just me, and then two like preteen girls who were running the clock.
Oh my
Oh
god.
no.
And that was funny because it's one of those things where I know that like a lot of adults are like, I would never want to like spend an hour like locked in a small like plexiglass box with two tween girls as they talk about their daily problems with each other. I thought it was kind of funny. I
That
don't.
sounds like it would be wildly entertaining, to be honest.
Sure, was it like annoying at times? No, honestly, not really. I feel like I can see how some people would think it is. I just, you know, talk about your boy crushes or whatever and your fourth grade, the sixth grade teachers. Sure, do whatever. Have fun. I'm just here to say the names when they tell me to. So it was an interesting evening.
That sounds like
Fantastic, honestly.
I'd be lying if I said that sounds like a blast, but that sounds like an adventure.
Yeah, it's somewhere between blast and adventure.
Honestly,
Oh, also, I was wearing shorts and flip-flops because
there
I
it
was
is.
going to take pictures for a few minutes and then head out. And then I had to stand next to like, you know, an ice rink
Oh, that was fun. So you were a little
for
chilly?
like I was freezing.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Little chilly guy.
But yeah, it was that was my experience recently.
That sounds like actually, like I said, not necessarily a good or bad time, just an adventure. Like, what a neat
Yeah,
thing to be able to say that you did.
Exactly. I
Also,
like a good adventure.
low key feels like a movie script. Like you should have like I don't know had to then solve a murder or something.
Yeah, I feel like less of a movie, more of like an episode of something.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Like a sitcom slash like maybe like something a little more like intense than a sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, I started watching the Amazon Prime original series The Boys recently.
Oh no.
I have heard such mixed things about that, and by that I mean Nina does not like the show. But I'm still interested in watching it just because I've seen a lot of terrible takes around it that are contradictory to each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think Nina and I honestly agree quite heavily on the show.
I suspect that I actually might also agree with that. Just based on what I know of both of you and the show.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but I think it thinks it's doing more than it actually
Yep.
is. I think it hates women more than it realizes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it definitely hates women more than it realizes, and I just feel like there's just so many missed opportunities and weird forced things.
I was gonna say it's
And-
gratuitous as hell. Like is one of my bigger gripes with it is that like
I don't have necessarily a problem with the gratuity, but I think some people forget that there's a difference between like a superhero exploding someone
Mhm.
because they have god powers
Mm-hmm.
and then like sexual assault.
yes,
Like, those are not
that's
equally-
what I don't necessarily mean gratuitous violence. I just mean gratuitous in all forms.
Exactly. It's very like exploitative.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like, again, head exploding. I love Kingsman. I think the end of Kingsman is great.
Mhm.
But then it's also one of those things where I think the show misconstrues that people who commit violent acts are, at least to me and I think a lot of viewers, more redeemable than people who commit sexually violent acts.
Correct.
Yeah. No, that was
And-
actually that's why Nina stopped watching the show.
Yeah, I think it's a super reasonable
No,
reason.
I feel that fully. I think the fact that like they have the character that's like the Deep, which is functionally Aquaman, and they're like, it's funny because he's basically Aquaman, so he sucks. But then they also start his entire run of the show by like being sexually aggressive with another main character, and
Mhm.
apparently he has like a history of misconduct with multiple women over the course of his career. And they're like, yeah, but we're gonna give him like a pseudo redemption arc, and it's like that's fine, but don't make it literally like at least 5 minutes of solo screen time for him every episode going forward. Because
Yeah.
I don't need to see it. Maybe just fast forward a year from now, he shows up again and it's changed, and there's like they have to tackle that particular issue. Perhaps if you need to do that,
Isn't now correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the way they decided to tackle it was he was a really shitty person, but then he got assaulted and realized he was a bad guy
Yep,
and tried
sure
to act
is.
like it
that
was
was
all cool
one of the
now?
ways they decided to tackle it. There's
Yeah,
a
see,
few
that's-
facets to it, but yeah, they're like, what if he gets assaulted? You're like, that's not.
That's
It's
not
just like
better.
you
I
get
don't
how
think
that's
that-
not better, right? You get how
That
that's
actually
actually
might be
still
worse.
upsetting.
Like, sure, well, I think that the actions that he is like guilty of are like horrific. I don't believe they didn't like that he has them done to him. I don't think that's what should happen in that situation. I think
No.
that there are other forms of punitive justice that exist, and I think that that's obviously an insane way to go about things.
Yeah, no,
I think the
it's
show
rough.
sucks more than it realizes, and I think the show thinks it's way more serious than it is.
Mm-hmm.
But
I really think
know.
from what I've gathered from like fans of the show that I've seen online, everyone really is acting like this is the next Watchmen. Like it's not copying a lot of what Watchmen did without like what Watchmen had to say about it too.
Well, that's
I think it's not even necessarily that similar to Watchmen. It thinks it just has a lot to say. It is slightly Watchmen adjacent in that like superhero corruption is like a thing.
Mhm.
But I just think it doesn't I don't know. It kind of sucks, and I think it tries to take itself like as like a serious property when like it can just be like background watching. But then because of the way they handle like really sensitive topics, it becomes something that forces itself into the foreground and reminds you that it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I watched I think the first season and a half, and then I was like, you know what, I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's about where I'm. I'm like halfway through season 2.
I just
Um,
full on had a moment of realizing that this is not something that I'm entertained by. This is not something that I'm really particularly enjoying, and
Yeah.
it just it does. It, just,
That's-
it
that's
sucks
kinda
way
how I
more than
feel.
it sucks way more than it thinks it does. Absolutely correct. I think that's a great.
I
way to
don't
read
I
it.
don't mind it as like something in the background, but it's not like my favorite thing in the universe, and I'll probably keep watching it. The main thing is Mari's been watching it and wants to watch it.
Mhm.
So like, sure. But it's also like the way that the show handles women as a whole is awful. Like all of them have to have their character motivations defined by the men in their lives, and I understand that like you can
Yeah.
talk about patriarchal dominance without
Yeah.
Mhm.
necessarily putting it on screen and in everyone's face over and over again. And then
Yeah.
they also take literally one of the only women of color in the entire series, and then first one of the first women of color that shows up gets killed immediately.
Yep.
And then the only prominent Asian woman in the cast is literally mute and does fully the Born Sexy Yesterday trope of like, oh, she's like super dangerous and it could do like anything and has like superpowers, but she's just a widow lady. She's just a widow girl who's just dumb and doesn't know how to communicate. Like that's
Don't like
that's a
that.
little weird, right? But it's okay. The guys in the graphic T-shirts and that say sriracha on them will help this poor Asian woman around. That's not like a weird fantasy fulfillment for that type of dudes that dress like that or anything.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Clearly. No, I don't know. I wanted it to be good, and then it just wasn't. I was enjoying Invincible though. Well, like I feel like those are the ones that I put side by side just because they came out both on Amazon and both like somewhat similar time frames. I was
Yeah, and honestly,
enjoying
not
Invincible a
the
lot more.
same idea, but
No,
similar concept.
similar baseline. What if superheroes not actually good? Like on a
I-
very
I-
like
I think
surface
that
level.
there's a lot of that I really enjoy, like
Oh, yeah.
exploring, like what if superhero bad,
Mhm.
but also it's kind of been slammed into the ground, and not for nothing, a little bit suspect at the platforms that keep putting out that content. It just
Yeah.
not in a I'm trying to be conspiratorial kind of way, but like, I mean,
Who-
Amazon has given us more than one show about what if Superman was actually a scumbag, and
I
what,
mean, I feel like had the boys not been on Amazon, I feel like there's so much potential for like vehemently anti-capitalist rhetoric within the
I was gonna
series,
say
and they address it slightly, but they never really dive into the
yeah.
fact that capitalism is the root of the problem.
I was gonna say they're way too scared to touch it because I was gonna say it really does. Was it Vought or whatever? What's the name of the
Yeah,
company?
Vought.
It really loses a little bit of the punch when you realize that Vought is the Amazon parallel. Like it really.
I mean, I think Vought is genuinely less of an Amazon, more of like a BlackRock situation.
Sure,
where, like,
but like still massive corporation that continues to keep putting out content and various forms of media to promote their product, shutting down and destroying everything in their path if they can. Like
yeah, I just feel like there's a lot more like avenues for the government the government corruption of like the capitalist infiltration of government and bureaucracy,
yeah.
like than they actually take part in, and they address a little bit, but they don't really ever fully, at least not from what I've seen, go into the fact that capitalism is the root cause for everything they're doing.
Mhm.
It's a little wild that because that really does feel like the point of it all at the end of the day. Like really,
Yeah,
that is
it really does feel like that's what they should be talking about. It's also one of those things where, like, obviously this isn't like a bold take, but there's no fucking way that if Superman existed and there was like a million Supermen, but only in America, that the rest of the world would be like, this is normal and probably fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%.
Like, you
That would be a
know-
problem.
There would be some like fucking like some like Chinese like counterintelligence operations going on to figure out what like that compound V is, and they would synthesize it within a matter of a few years, and then
Oh,
there
without
would be
doubt.
a whole army of super soldiers on every side of the world.
Mhm.
It would just be a big fucking problem. But I think that they kind of hide behind a slight veil of American exceptionalism, but then
Mhm.
they also are just at the same time trying to be like, but it's not a good thing to be bought into the idea of American exceptionalism. Okay.
I will give it a tiny bit of a pass as far as like, hey, why is the rest of the world okay with this? In as much as I feel like that's just not the story they're interested in telling, because like the most they touch on, as far as I remember, like as far as I got in the show, was like, quote unquote terrorists got a hold of it. You know what I mean? Like that's as far as they really were willing to touch outside the U.S. I felt like, but maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah, they don't really touch much outside of the U.S., but the fact that like a core like aspect of season one, and I think I'm going forward, is the idea of getting the superheroes into the military. I feel like it
Yeah.
immediately has to become an international discussion, and they never have that international discussion.
Mhm.
Fair. Very
Because
fair.
that's the perfect way to like transition into that. Like, the military is a world object, not just an American thing. You can't imagine everyone being okay with the fact that like all of a sudden America's bringing in like crazy super soldiers. Nah, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. So I mean, and again, I haven't watched that much of it. I don't know if I'm gonna watch into like season 3. I've heard like that it's good from people, but mostly people that also will say things like, I don't know, Attack on Titan is goated with the sauce. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't know how much I trust the opinions of people who also like have seen every Marvel movie, um, like and actively do. Yeah, it's like maybe you're right, but also you might be like 12% wrong.
Yeah, I think it's fair. Are we on season 3 or season 4 right now as the show?
Season 3 I think is the one that's
I've
like the
heard
newest.
I've heard some wacky shit about season 3. Like if we like for the reasons that we dislike seasons 1 and 2, I don't think we're going to like season 3.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I figure. I mean, we'll see how much I end up watching. We'll see if I post back on this one or not. But I mean, I've got a pretty good respect for Amazon original series. I liked The Man in the High Castle for the most part.
Oh, I heard that was really good. I never got around to watching that.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's definitely got some problems. I think that it's gonna have problems. I mean, anytime you portray a world in which Nazi propaganda succeeded and went on for another like 50 years,
Yeah,
you're gonna have some characters that are gonna be deeply flawed in a way that we can't necessarily see as um, solvable, but you had to, allow for the existence in which they've only ever been in. So I don't know. I think it's pretty good though. It's kind of cool, pretty fun,
Mhm.
good story. It's a solid ending, which I
it's
think is hard to do.
I was gonna say for a show about the subject matter, yeah, I feel like having a solid ending would be extremely difficult, to be honest.
Yeah, and
I would tend to
honestly, the
agree.
the ending's not like magnificent, but it is pretty good. I wasn't like incredibly pissed. Cause like sometimes if the show is about what if Nazis won, you can't it can't be like a super happy and everything was also okay
Mhm.
Yeah,
type
by
show.
definition, it can't be okay.
Yeah, there's a certain level of try you got to play it like kind of safe that things don't always do, which is, there's realistically not a huge way to like perfectly make that work, right?
No.
Like how are you actually going to convey all of that blah 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 if we don't have a real life example of what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But also, I don't know.
I think it does a good enough job. I think it's again not something to be taken as like gospel truth,
Mhm.
but
It's
I
still fun stuff to explore. It's nice to see people trying it.
I
Just
have
someday
found
we'll see.
myself completely like over the last maybe 6 months to a year, almost completely unable to watch anything with actual like substance behind it. Not because like, oh man, it's too complex for my little baby brain, but just because like by the time I get to a TV and I'm watching something, I am so wiped out from my day, my week, my month, my year, whatever. Mentally cannot comprehend sitting and watching and caring like deeply about
uh,
whatever I'm consuming.
just watch The Boys. You don't have to think about anything. It
True.
sucks.
True. But like even like so Michelle and I were watching Silicon Valley for a while, and even that I'm like, I can't bring myself to care about this right now. And it sucks because I know Michelle wants to finish it up, whatever. And so all I've been doing is watching like just the most low bar garbage on Netflix or whatever the fuck. Just to literally just to kill time and get a smile on my face every now and again. And I don't love it, to be honest. Like I do kind of miss like engaging with content in a way that means something.
Mhm.
But also, guys, I gotta tell, I'm so not in a place mentally where I can do that. You know what I mean?
Just drop your media literacy rate.
I
Just
kind
it's
of.
actually it's worth it.
I mean, kind of. That's what I've been doing.
Sometimes you just gotta watch something like you're a fan of like Captain America 12.
That's what I'm saying though. Like that even is like that's hitting the upper limit of what I can get through. Like I've been behind. Like so, I did actually intend to go watch the last couple Marvel movies, and I just intentionally didn't. Like I just was like, I don't have the mental energy to watch a Marvel movie,
Do they
which
still
is
make them? Like, what's the most recent one?
Doctor Strange. I'm pretty sure, which I heard was not good.
It was Thor, the new Thor.
Oh, that's right. My bad. Thor,
Both of
which I
which
also heard
both
was
of
not
these
good.
movies have had mixed reviews. I don't know. I haven't seen them, so I don't care.
Exactly. But like I wanted to see them. I was engaged with the stuff they were doing with Wanda for a while, and then I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to I do not want to sit and watch a 2-hour movie. Just full stop. I don't want to do it.
See, I don't know. I get it because there's a lot of things that I really would like to watch, and that's not to plug my own stuff too much here. That's one of the reasons that I like the other podcast, Casual Obsession, because that has forced me to at least commit to watching one movie every 2 weeks.
I literally thought you were
Um,
about to say that's why I like the other podcast more, and I was about to
n-
be very upset with you.
no.
No, I would be so proud of you if you said that.
No, but I like it because it makes me keep watching movies and keep like up to date on anything,
Mhm.
even just a little bit, which would be so easy not to. I'll find a new video essay guy and
And
fall
watch
down a
every
rabbit
video
hole for
essay.
like
Yep.
7 hours
Mm-hmm.
to a week, depending on how long they've been on YouTube.
Yep.
But I have, thankfully enough, not had the same kind of like media drought that you're finding yourself stuck in, where you're just like not able to get into anything, not like ready to get into anything.
Yeah.
Not to flex on you, but we just finished Better Call Saul, which is a very meaningful show full of
I heard it
meaning
was
and
great.
meaning.
I heard the ending was phenomenal.
I had a few days where I wasn't sure how I felt about the ending because the ending
I
is
think that makes it a good ending.
because, well, here's the thing, right? Like Breaking Bad's ending. I know neither of you watched Breaking Bad.
Correct.
I watched
Um,
like 3.5 seasons.
well, neither of you finished Breaking Bad. Let me rephrase that.
Fair.
But Breaking Bad was such an action-forward show, and its ending was like a climax of everything that happened. So in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, Better Call Saul has been such a good show. It's gonna be somewhere in the same ballpark. Not even like really thinking of the fact that
They're not at all the
that's
same, even
well,
vaguely
exactly
show.
that they're not at all the same. Like so we get to the end of Better Call Saul, and I'm just okay. So I'm gonna give you some content information about Better Call Saul, right? It takes place at the end of Breaking Bad, where Saul is hiding because obviously he was involved in Walt's like meth operation, and all of
Wait, I
the
thought
shots.
it was a prequel.
I also
No,
thought it was a
it is
prequel.
both. It is both.
Ah.
And that's the fun thing. All of the prequel shots are in full color, but all the shots of him in his like living underground as a manager of a Cinnabon is shot in black and white.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so all the future shots are black and white, and all the quote unquote modern shots, past shots
Prequel
are
shots.
all in color. And it's really really enjoyable. But like the last 2 episodes, it was all future content at that point. It was all like we've caught
I
up with the
caught up.
story, and here we
Yeah.
are. And it was really fun. Just this really strong decision to use black and white for the entire rest of the season.
That
was
is
really
I was gonna say
fun.
I'm surprised they didn't go full color for those last couple of those. I respect that a lot.
Mm-hmm. And we get to the end where everything culminates and the show finishes, and I'm just like, I liked that, but I don't know if I liked it more than Breaking Bad. And then we also watched El Camino, which is the Breaking Bad spin-off film. So which gives you the ending for Walt, for Jesse, and for Saul. Your three main dudes of the operation. And what a nice time this was. I cannot convey how happy I've been to find a series that I was able to be invested in from beginning to end and have it be not bad.
And have it never get like shitty and terrible.
Yeah, sure. There's a few filler episodes in Breaking Bad. There's a few filler
course.
episodes in Better Call Saul where it's like you can tell that they just had to like pad out a couple episode things here and there. But I never felt like my time was wasted. I still felt like the show was telling me cool things about
It was
the
going
world
somewhere
that
with it.
yeah. Like I mean, there's a Breaking Bad episode called The Fly, and the entire episode revolves around Walt trying to kill a fly that got into their meth lab.
Amazing.
And that's all that he does the entire time. And he has a terrible time about it.
Amazing.
And yeah, you could argue that that's a pointless episode, but also, it gives you a good look into like Walt's head and how he thinks and fun stuff like that. And it's just seeing all the characters develop in that show and then getting to come back and watching them like side
Finish it
characters
out,
develop and then conclude the whole story, big broad strokes over everything, just being like, and here's how it ended, was so much fun. And
Yeah, but could he beat Goku?
I gotta be honest,
With
man.
enough prep time.
I don't know, Dan. I think Goku might have this one in the bag.
Damn. That's
I know,
crazy.
controversial thought. Goku usually can't win, but Goku be winning this one.
You think that Goku could beat Saul Goodman in a one-on-one fist fight?
I think he might.
Wow. So the show's mid.
Honestly, it is
Middling at
mid at
best.
best. At best.
No, I'm glad though. Like I miss having shows that I can engage with for that long. I really well, and it's not. That's the other thing is it's not just shows. It's like I don't even watch like long form YouTube content anymore. It's
Oh,
wild.
really?
I am in a weird place media wise. I've left all of my like D&D podcasts that I used to listen to behind. I basically just vibe and listen to music now.
That's not bad
That
though.
sounds nice.
I've
It
ditched a lot
isn't.
of my podcasts too, and I plan on coming back to them eventually.
That's
I
exactly where I'm at.
cannot listen to music.
You do
I
not,
kind of get
you
that
said?
though.
I can't unless I'm like, if I'm like at home, I can't really like listen to music.
I kind of
Yeah,
get
I get
that
that.
though. I listen to music excessively at work and very little around the house, to be honest.
Yeah, I just like I mean I'm always like I also can't really do things with music. Like I'm trying to get better at that, but like let's say I'm like working on something, even if it's just fully visual, if I'm just doing like some like I don't know, graphic design of some sort, I can't have music on. Like it just distracts me. But I have to have like a 3 hour video of someone talking on because that doesn't distract me.
Yeah, it's
No,
a
I'm
different
with
kind of
you.
white noise. Yeah, I
I
get
just
that.
have Northern Lion playing Call to the Lamb on the side while I work on like podcast edits. Fine, normal, easy to deal with. If I put music on, I can't edit to save my life.
That's
It's
why like if you ever play Super Smash Brothers with me, I am genuinely not very good at all unless I'm able to have a conversation with the person I'm playing with.
Because you bring me down and you bring yourself up at the same time.
Because I'm just so much better when I can like just talk about nothing, and also I feel like that's more of a just me thing, and so as a result, everyone else in the room is worse. But like it's like that's why that and like that's why I would never be able to, even if I was like really good at, like do anything at like a tournament, I just can't not talk when I play.
I
Like even if no one responds, I just start like talking.
I can't listen to music while I edit, and it kind of blows my mind that you guys can have stuff going in the background while you're editing. Because I have to have like dead silence while I'm editing, or I will lose
Let me
every step.
make it pretty clear. When I'm editing the podcast, I'm not listening to the podcast. I
Damn,
do,
damn,
I
the
silent
truth
edit
comes out.
because, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? The podcast, shout out to us. We record clean enough that I can just cut the dead air bits because it's just a real quick sloppy cut through, and then I will listen to it while I'm doing something that occupies my hands. And if there's any weird noises, I'll pause my game. I'll come back. I'll cut out a couple of extra ums. I'll cut out keyboard noises, things like that that made it through the original like cut.
I love a good something to do with the hands. I just this last week, between the last time I recorded and now, decided I would carve myself a pipe.
Ooh, how'd that go?
I don't know yet. I'll know after the podcast is over if it works or not, but it's done.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Let me see if I can't get an image here for you. It's a little. It's
Man who works
it's,
in media asking if he can get an image.
That is a little bit noisy.
I think one of
As
my
the kids
favorite
say.
things is when people who do media for a living take the crunchiest photos and they're like, yeah, I don't really know why.
No,
Or it doesn't really
I love
matter.
it so much. Well, that's the thing is I think that when you work in media, you realize that it doesn't fucking matter.
I literally add crunch to my photos when I post them because I like the crunch more than I like a crisp, clear photo.
You okay? Now you're a fucking piece of shit, and I hate you. So.
Nah, man, I like my one
You're a
photo app that I
fucking
use to alter my
monster.
like color levels and stuff. I use it to also add like grain and noise because I like that.
You're a fucking monster.
Nah.
And you need to be shut down.
Grain, noise, and texture. That was my like trifecta trick when I was working at the church. That was my like the thing that I did to things to make them look better than just like overly clean colors.
There is the rudimentary pipe I have carved.
I
Noah's
see.
an
So when you
actual
said a
literal
pipe, you
monster.
were talking about a weed bowl.
Yeah, it's just a bowl. But
What type
it's
of
a
wood?
pipe, is it not? It doesn't have an ornate
pipe.
stem, and it's just it's a single piece, so it's just a one unit.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pipe.
What type of wood? Is it going to add flavor?
I believe it is actually cherry.
Ooh.
So we'll see how well it holds up, but it doesn't necessarily have the highest heat tolerance, and it may channel, it may canoe a little bit, because the wood cracked a little bit when I drilled the bowl out, but we'll see.
I think you got this.
Yeah,
It's fun to just make stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've been speaking of making things. One thing I have been doing very, very slowly, and Noah, you've seen this now. I shared it around to you a little bit. Is I've been going through some of my older streams and pulling clips out very much like just a like ripping off of the style of other creators, like clip fucking format. Like I don't care.
Mhm.
But it's been really, really entertaining to be able to work on little editing like side projects for myself again. And not just for like not like for work or for a movie or for like a bigger thing, but just a little, hey, this funny thing happened and I'm gonna pass it around to my friends because I think it's amusing.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Indeed, I definitely. It's been a long, long, long time since I worked on like anything like that. So it's been nice. Like also, it's been also nice like teaching myself After Effects in the process. So I can say pretty confidently that I understand how to use After Effects now because of it.
I love After Effects.
After Effects is such a chunky program. Like it is not.
Oh, it sucks ass.
It's so chunky, but my god, does it do work?
The entire way they have like the encoding queue set up
Yes.
is fucking stupid.
Correct.
It makes no sense. Give me 20 minutes and a hammer and I'll make it look better.
Correct.
It's just like don't do it like that.
Mhm.
Change it a little
Be
bit. Make
better.
it a little more fluent. The UX is abysmal.
No, it's ridiculous. But
It's where like Photoshop, Audition, and like even like Premiere Pro, at least like the UX has become like so much better and more
Yeah.
intuitive.
Yeah, and then there's
Photoshop
After Effects.
Effects is
Yep.
like
Yep.
yeah, After Effects is like the last bastion of Adobe like chunk.
Of
Yeah.
Adobe actively hating their user base.
The fact that you
100%.
can't
Well, it's just-
literally only the fact that like the fact you can't group layers. I cannot stick my layers in a group and like bring that group. Like you can hide them, you can label them, but you cannot group them and like compress that group down. That's just not a thing you can do. And the fact that you
yeah,
like,
no,
that's ridiculous.
There are so many goofy like I feel like when it comes to if you're like doing an interview, I feel like After Effects and like maybe InDesign are the only ones that people will be like, wait, you know how to use like InDesign?
I actually
'Cause
really
they're
like
still,
InDesign.
like, I use InDesign more than Photoshop, honestly.
I'm same actually because Photoshop. I feel like they have different purposes. Is really what it comes down. Like there's
They
just a
do.
different application.
I feel like people don't realize that InDesign is better for so many different facets of graphic design. Same with like Illustrator, and Photoshop is just like
Photos.
all reliable.
Yeah, it's good for photos. It's good for like touching up. It's good for hey, I'm going to make this thing better. But for graphic design, it's not necessarily great.
Yeah, I like to use Photoshop for like an initial creation of an asset,
Mhm.
and then I port it to InDesign or Illustrator.
That's super valid. I pretty much only
Anyway,
use Photoshop for its
regardless-
filters. Anyway, go on.
After Effects and InDesign, I feel like are like the two Adobe Suite products that if you tell someone in an interview that you know how to use, you better fucking not be lying. You can lie about using Premiere, Photoshop, Audition. You can learn that shit pretty quick. But like Premiere, like After Effects and InDesign, I feel like you could get yourself in some like pretty quick hot water.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, and I think that like it's so interesting because I know that while I can say that I know After Effects, right? I know After Effects in as much as like I can slam some assets and some layers together. I know how I can do some basic things. If you want me to do like actual VFX work or CGI work in there, I would rather die. But basic tracking, like I will say the tracking software and like automatic tracking that After Effects does is bad shit.
Yeah, no, the actual
Like the actual
like,
hardware is insane.
bones of it
Yeah.
are super convenient, and they are only made more convenient every year.
Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, no, it's wild that it also is wild that like Premiere went through. I don't know how much you use Premiere these days, but like Premiere went through a pretty massive update maybe 4 months ago, changed their entire UI, like everything. The edit, like you can't export directly. You really can't export directly out of Premiere anymore. You have to run it through Adobe Media Encoder.
Yeah, they really
Mhm.
made a media encoder. Well, they needed it to do something.
Yeah, here's the thing. I
Yeah.
actually don't mind, right? I'm gonna be honest. I don't mind the changes,
I
except
mean,
for
I use media encoder for After Effects and Premiere because
Same.
you can just it's just nice.
No, it's so good. It's so good. I enjoy it a lot. All that to say, fuck Adobe. Use DaVinci. That's it. That's the end of that sentence.
I wish I could, but I have Adobe and don't have DaVinci, so suck
The
an egg.
Resolve is free.
Really?
That's the whole point.
They have an audio thing?
I don't know enough about DaVinci beyond the fact that it's apparently insanely well put together.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're saying don't use Adobe, use DaVinci, and then when I ask a single question, you're like, well, I've never used it. However,
No, I've used it. Here's the thing. I've used it for its color work and some of its.
well, I do
graphics
like
work.
its color stuff.
It's
I've
color
seen a
stuff
lot of
and the
people
way
use
it's
it.
built out. So DaVinci's big thing, for at least from how I know it, is that
Yeah, it's the Mona Lisa.
is
Yeah.
its node system, and the fact that you can like layer nodes on top of each other in different ways and have them interact with each other in really neat ways. And I think that's fucking cool as shit, frankly. Yeah, there it is. Farlight, professional tools designed for audio post production. So yes, they do.
Hmm.
I need to learn it. I need to learn it so bad. It truly is such a. And, oh, you know what the best part is? It's not a fucking subscription service.
Yeah, no, that's
It's a one and
my
done.
hugest issue. Is like I like using the Adobe stuff. I know I really
Yeah.
enjoy using.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
annoyed that I'm gonna have to transfer all of my stuff over since I've kind of like gotten used to Adobe and it's like, you know,
Yeah.
industry standard and all. But like I do not appreciate that they don't have a cheaper option than the almost $450 yearly
Yeah.
for people who aren't making money off of their products.
Yeah.
And
It
the
is
fact
a
that they
little
won't
insane.
sell you like 4 years ago's product anymore. Like I'd be content to stick with like 2020.
Yeah.
I liked that interface well enough.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that like there are so many pieces of it that I just don't. I don't need the entire fucking suite. I just full on don't. I need Premiere and Audition, but you know how much you can't do that?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. You can't. You
the
can
fact
buy.
that they don't have a custom collection of
ridiculous.
like pick 3 of our apps, I could do
Mhm.
that. I could work with that.
Yeah, 100%. I could work with that. But
But, you know,
no,
whatever.
no. Fuck
Also,
us.
It'd be
Here-
nice if it was like a pick 3 and you can only have, or you can only have 3 installed at a time.
Oh,
you
that'd
like-
be nice.
You know, mix and match your subscription as on a need based.
Yeah, I could work with that.
Yeah.
Like here, okay. So here's actually my biggest issue right now with Adobe is that even if I only had Premiere and Audition to cover all of my all of my needs and then found a Photoshop alternative, I would still need Media Encoder for any
Mhm.
of their presets. Their presets are stuck inside Media Encoder instead of having a regular YouTube 1080 preset in
Yep.
Premiere. That's embarrassing on their part.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the reason they do that though is just because you have to have media encoder if you have the other stuff, and it's just easier for them to make it so every product can export to the same like encoding preset.
Yeah.
But if you're only using a single product, it's kind of just a needless like space waster.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys played Cult of the Lamb?
Yes, in fact.
Now I've been playing too much Spider-Man.
Lies.
I've been playing so much Spider-Man again. It's so good. The remaster is honestly great. I still think the new Spider-Man model's head looks like a thumb, but it's fine.
That's
You
very
know, I
funny.
will say I recently got the new like PlayStation Plus Pro or whatever it is.
Mhm.
You know, that's like the subscription, the game catalog service. It
Mhm.
goes pretty hard.
Nice.
Like it's just a lot of games that I've always like. There's just so many games on it that I've always been like, yeah, I would play it, but I don't want to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my experience with Game Pass for a while. Yeah, it's just nice
Yeah.
to have as like a, oh hey, there's this game, and like I've bought games off of Game Pass like fully. Like I bought Back for Blood fully off of Game Pass. I'm gonna do the same for Sea of Thieves next time it goes on sale, because it's a game that I don't really care if it's on Game Pass. I know I'm going to keep playing it well past the point where Game Pass is going to keep it on their platform.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
overall, it is an amazing amazing way to like just try out new things.
Yeah, Sony's new one is actually it's pretty good. There's a lot of games on there that like I think there's a lot of games on there that fit perfectly with a Game Pass situation, like all like the Dark Anthology games.
Yeah.
Because look, I'd love to play Little Hope, but I'm not paying $40 to play a 5-hour game once.
Yeah, I think that's
Because that's the thing. I know there's replayability, but not for me.
no. Well, like if games that are built with the intention of you are going to keep replaying it is not ideal in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's also hard for me to justify shelling out a lot of money for a game that doesn't even look that good anymore and also will last 6 hours when it's available on the subscription service for like, online is already like $60 a year. It's $99 for the Game Pass as well.
Mm-hmm.
So ostensibly another $40 for a year, and you can play all of them. I think that's a pretty good situation
Nice.
for games like that I've always been on the fence with, where if
Yeah.
it was
Mhm.
if I would have ever had to buy it, I never would have bought it.
Yeah. But now you got to actually play it and like experience
But
it.
yeah, now I've got them available. Haven't played it, but I could. But yeah, I think it's a good format. I have been playing in terms of games, mostly Cult of the Lamb lately.
Same as well.
Crazy,
I
same.
have beaten it.
I am
You
real
have?
goddamn close.
I have.
Nice. I am what I assume is the last boss is where I'm at right now.
I am
Gotcha.
I am final boss fight for Anchor Deep or whatever, and then I have the spider area, and then I'm done.
Yeah, I've beaten all the bishops.
Okay, yeah, I've got 15.9 hours in it.
I've got 77.3. I think I left the game running at some point.
You must have. I have 25.2, but also
Jesus, you guys hear that?
No. Was that thunder?
Oh, yeah, thunder.
Yeah, it was rumbling over here too.
Just like making all like my candles and stuff clink.
Nina messaged me and said, "Hey, just so you know, it's going to be really stormy just in case your power goes out."
Yeah, there's a chance. It's real bad right now.
But
I've got 67% of the achievements.
let's see. How many do I have? I have 70% of the achievements.
59.
I think the game is fun. It's pretty good.
I've had a lot of fun with it so far. I'm excited to actually beat what I assume is the end boss of the game. Jackson, am I correct? Is that the last boss, or do I not want to know?
Not
Okay.
telling you.
Fair enough. I appreciate that.
You probably do want to know, but I'm not telling you either way.
Fair enough. But yeah, I've been having a blast. I love the base building and base management and cult management elements. I think those are a blast. What I don't like though is when I clear an area and I'm like, cool, that's the last time I'm gonna have to go into Darkwood, and then 5 different cult members come up and say, "Hey, I really want some flowers from Darkwood," and then I get dinged if I don't go find those flowers for them.
You know? I've been liking doing. The last couple of runs I've done have actually been back through like Darkwood and whatever the one that's next to it. I'm blanking on the name because I wasn't there long enough.
Mhm.
Just for like, oh, that's right. I'm not terrible garbage at this game. I'm just fighting harder enemies now.
Yeah.
So I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty out the gate because I'm doing it as a stream game.
Mhm.
And so there's been some times where I'm just like, wow, I just hate myself for this. Like certain enemies, until like just took me way longer than they needed to actually figure out. Especially because for the longest time, and I've only switched off of it like literally this past stream, I was using the Golden Fleece, which makes you take double damage. So I'm walking into runs with like 3 hits on me total. Like I hit 3 times, that's it, game over, GG.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of my biggest gripe with it is like the dungeon and like the combat is like pretty fun, but there's not that much like variety in it.
Yeah, there really isn't.
And like the fishing is pretty fun, but there's like no variety in it.
This is the
and
only
like
fishing
the
game
map is
actually.
pretty fun.
Go ahead.
But like there's no variety in it. And like the
Yeah.
base building is pretty fun, but like there's no variety in it.
I was talking to somebody that it definitely feels like, although it feels like a complete game, right? I'm not sitting here and being like, oh, it's not done. It
Yeah, I
definitely,
think it's really good.
it feels like there are some massive like it feels like you could do an entire like series of DLC adding new mechanics to different things.
I think with a few quality of life mods, it could be a real banger. And I think it's already a very, very good game. Like definitely top 5 of the year.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. Yeah.
So like I think it's being pedantic at the point where you start like having problems with it.
Well, some things okay, so here's like, okay, so personal issue. And to the point where I had to restart a run because I didn't understand how mechanics work. Like there are some things in the game that to me just make no fucking sense. Like why do you even bother giving me an option other than resurrection? Because resurrecting a guy who's at like level 10 is almost always going to be better than even like getting 3 or 4 new followers. Like why
Wait, what's better about them being level 10?
they give you more
When you sacrifice them and res them again, they give you more resources.
They give you more resources. They also work better if you summon them in as demons. They also work better if you're sending them out on missions. They also give you better devotion payouts. They also give you better fucking loyalty payouts. Like they're just, the higher the level, they're just better. And when you resurrect them, even if they die of old age.
I hit max way too early.
I
didn't even notice that kind of thing happened.
That was going to be my follow-up, is that I'm now at the point where I am hitting max on things.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, what do I Like, don't get me wrong, I can still build out like some more stuff. I can build out more like farms or whatever, right? I can keep trying to like automate things, so all I have to do when I come back is cook. Which, by the way, the fact that there's no way to get them to cook for themselves is insane. But go off.
I don't mind that because I would rather have to feed them myself and choose what they eat than allow them to cook any food that they want to.
That's fair.
I
I'd
think
rather
it would be
just
cute if you could make a chef and if you could make like a medicine man.
yeah, medicine man would be cool because you have the loyalty enforcer, which is great, by the way.
I used the money enforcer and I
the
made
money
it
one?
a guy named the Roach Squatch, which is just green Bigfoot.
That's
I
very
love
funny.
that.
That's very funny. I think I made it Dave at first, and then or no, Tom first, then Dave, and now Kenzie. Because I've been doing it on stream, so it's been Twitch integration.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
see, I was like, you named your guys like Tom and Dave. Mine are all in like Thweebo and Dorbalodge.
no, I've been using the Twitch integration, which by the way is
Mhm.
very fun.
I
love the
honestly,
fact,
I think that
It seems really
improves the
cool.
game.
I agree.
Oh yeah,
100%.
it seems really cool.
I think it's such a fun way. It's one of the I was actually talking to I don't remember who I was talking to about it. I wish there was something like that for XCOM. Like I want so badly for there to be an integration for Twitch and XCOM where you could let your audience build their own like XCOM characters. Cuz I would love to do an XCOM 2 playthrough that's built that way. I think that'd be so
Mhm.
much fun. I think it'd be really engaging, but like then they have to build in the editor into a extension, which I guess is a lot of work. Question mark. I have no idea how that part works. But no, I agree. I think it absolutely improves the game. I think it also gives you almost naturally like I never resurrect any of the characters that aren't a Twitch follower.
I
Why would
have
I bother?
one whom I love,
I
and his name is Barbados.
I love
And
Barbados.
yeah, he's been my standby from day one. He doesn't
I
like sacrifice
resurrect.
though.
Yeah, I always resurrect my characters that are baby Krampus and baby Giblet.
That's
Mhm.
very cute.
I resurrect them, and they've both been alive for like literally like 100 or like I don't know, probably like their age is like 100 each.
Yeah,
I love
same.
that.
And then they have like they both have like the moon necklace on, so they stay up all night. So it's just worth bringing them back anyway
Honestly,
for that
yeah.
constant labor.
Mm-hmm. No,
That's
could
the
not
other,
agree more.
the fact that you can't take necklaces away or get
Can't
them
you?
back after you kill them.
I thought, well, yeah, but if you bring them back, the necklace stays with them. I thought if you gave them a new necklace, it swapped.
No, they say no, thank you. I've already got a necklace.
Oh, shoot. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I'm like
So I got to choose right the first time.
exactly. Like there are so many things in this game that I think are you have to choose right the first time or you're shooting yourself in the foot, and it does not make it clear which things those are. The fact that there's no way to like even at great cost reassign some doctrines after you've tried it and realized oh this sucks. Is
You know
insane.
what? I will say though, I think that that's good because it encourages replay. Because the game at its core is supposed to be a replayed game.
No,
Y-
games should not be built to be replayed. That's a
What do you
make it-
mean?
That's completely subjective. You
it is
can't
completely
say
subjective.
that.
It is completely subjective.
Yeah, that's a dumbass argument.
I couldn't
I-
disagree more.
Because here's the thing. I know once
I think
I've
the Binding of Isaac is actually super bad and dumb, and I think that it was a mistake to make it.
but I don't think Binding of Isaac
No,
is,
but what do you mean?
Binding of Isaac is a roguelike designed to be replayed from the beginning.
but
Yeah,
this
but
is
it's designed to be replayed.
But if I
But that's
may,
not the
if I may, this is a roguelike base builder.
But when I replay from the beginning for Cult of the Lamb, I'm
Mhm.
not bringing over anything from my first playthrough. Unlike something like Isaac or like an actual like a roguelite or roguelike that is you are starting a completely new run and you have stuff that you carried over from other runs. For this it is yes, there is a point, but there's also an end to the game. It's like rather than saying, "Oh, I should not play Binding of Isaac over and over," it is once I beat the final boss of Binding of Isaac, once I have unlocked everything for Binding of Isaac, I'm not going to go back and start from scratch again. In the same way, I'm not going to go back and start Cult of the Lamb from scratch again. I'm just not going to do it.
But
You don't have to if you
I
don't
gotta
want
say
to.
that's a you thing though, because I know a lot of people have really enjoyed like
fair.
doing all 3 Isaac files, for example.
There
you
is
know,
something
get
very
your
fun about seeing
get your dead god achievement on all
bajillion
of them.
Yeah, bazillion percent or whatever.
And for like I think that it makes sense. You know, it's no different in my mind than like a game of Civ where like will I usually choose the same order of operations? Yeah, probably. But like sometimes I'll play things a little bit differently. You know, it's just a game that like you play more times than one, and if you don't want to, you don't have to.
That's fair.
Yeah, and you can also do runs after you like beat the game.
But that still doesn't let you reset your doctrines.
What do you mean?
Yeah, like, I mean, I would change a lot of the doctrines that I set that were like money based, realizing later that money means nothing and productivity means nothing. And the only thing that matters is bribing your followers and being nice to your followers and like stuff like that.
Nah, dude,
Like,
intimidation is very funny.
yeah, it's funny, but it's not useful once you get like far enough in, you know, like you get to a point where resources mean nothing, but money means nothing either, you know, like you have enough wood and stone, you have enough money. The center monument turns into a money making machine. You know, like it's easy as hell. Once you hit like a point, suddenly everything just clicks and you're like, all right, let's go then. You know, I'll make a new like lumber yard or stone mine every now and then, and then let them get worked down to nothing and collect it all in one go because it just doesn't matter. You know?
That's fair. I think it's super fair. And I think that I am still far enough behind you that has not hit that point yet. Or
And
maybe
you're
it's
in
just 'cause I'm
fairness.
playing on super
Yes.
hard. Like
You're
that also
playing on
might- I don't-
super hard.
I
I
don't know
wanted
what
to
that
experience the
changes.
game in one go. It makes the base management a lot more difficult, and it makes enemies have more health, I believe.
It also lets you start with only one heart on a run. I know. instead of
Exactly.
More than one. Because I will like I definitely am not in a safe part yet. Like I'm not like completely out of the woods as far as resources go. I'm still pretty constantly low on wood and stone. Food is pretty much solved at this point. Although I'm getting tired of giving them nothing but berry meals because
Oh, mood. You feel like a
God.
bad cult leader.
well, also like the the beetroot, pumpkin, and cauliflower one is just so good. And I just need them to grow more of the goddamn beetroot.
I just like what I did when I needed that to happen is I just took all the other seeds away. I said like I'm not putting anything in the seed silo that isn't beetroot, cauliflower, and pumpkin
yeah, that's honestly
because
what
then
I
they
need to
won't
do.
plant anything else.
That's
And
what
then
I
a
need to do.
couple of the healing flowers.
Yeah, the healing flowers are nice. I really
Wait, those
enjoyed the
flowers
mushroom
heal
side
people?
quests.
That's what those are for?
Yeah,
Yeah, if you have a sick tent.
if you have the sick tent,
Oh
you
my
can heal
God.
them. I've only found
It's
this out
not like
when I started
super
playing.
imperative, but
It's
nice.
It's nice for the when you're dealing with what's his name who fucking sends plagues at your people all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're getting the quest, it's like, hey, these guys are sick. Can we have them in the cult now?
See, I super lucked out because by the time I hit the plague path really hard, I had killed off everyone else. So it was just like, and I was like leveled up enough that I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I can afford to have 10 of my guys just rest. I'll declare a holy day and everyone will love it.
It's very good. There's also some weird like I don't know if you guys ran into it, some weird like UI stuff where like if like I've had situations where like someone's exhausted, I'll send them to bed, I'll leave, and I'll come back, and I'll have like 5 people that it says that there are 5 cult members that are exhausted, but nobody actually is, and I have to reload the save to get that to fix.
I have that
Yeah.
happen sometimes with the lumberyard.
Lumberyard too, where like they would just stop working there for some reason.
Yeah, and you
Mhm.
can't send them to it.
Yep.
Yeah, every
Yep.
now and then a station will bug and you just have to reload the save, or
I th-
I don't know
I
if you've
think-
gotten to the level 3 dwellings yet,
I'm
but you'll
just
collect
starting them.
So they collect your devotion
Mhm.
like as they sleep, and when you
I don't
collect
think
it,
I've ever collected it.
well, when you collect it, the bar stays there and you have to walk over the tile again, which doesn't
I've just never collected it because I just don't want to do that. Like I don't want to go to like 20 huts and just hold the
Yeah.
square button for a few
Oh,
seconds.
no,
I
you
just
don't-
don't want to do that.
you have to tap it at each hut.
Oh, I don't want to do that at all. Yeah, like that sounds bad.
Mhm.
I even get frustrated collecting devotion from the statue.
I know it takes so long. By the end
I'm
of the
like,
game, it
oh
takes so
god,
fucking
can we just be
long.
done with this?
Um,
I really wish the fishing was better.
here's the thing. I'm gonna make a claim. This is the only fishing minigame I've actually enjoyed ever. Full stop. It
Have you
is.
ever played Stardew Valley?
I was
I
gonna
don't
say
like
this is
Stardew
just
Valley's fishing minigame.
It's the exact
It's
same
just-
minigame.
It is not. Stardew Valley
It's
has
just
a lot.
an easier version.
It's a lot easier, and that's the thing. There's no risk of failure in this fishing minigame, and I love it. I don't have to sit here and be like, "Wow, I missed that fish." Sure do love waiting 20 minutes for the next one to show up.
Mm-hmm.
I understand
guess.
that it's not a good opinion, and this is coming from somebody who does not like fishing minigames in games. I hate them, actually. Like, as a rule, I hate fishing minigames.
See, I don't care
I
for
enjoyed
this
this one.
one, but literally only because like when I do the ritual that makes me fish better, it keeps giving me too many nice fish and not enough
and
food
I just
fish.
need guppies. Same.
I just need garbage fish.
It's so good.
I also feel like the rituals are kind of like either always the one you use or
Mhm.
just never used.
Correct.
Like I only used like 3 rituals in the entire playthrough, like 3 different ones.
Well, I will say I used a lot, but also because I went scorched earth for like 90% of my options. So it's like if you're old, gotta kill you. if
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I
so
went with the
like
old people are our friends. I never sacrificed anybody.
Oh man.
yeah,
I
It
also
makes
went
things so easy.
I
I
also
believe it
went
is the thing.
I also went old people are need to die. But that gives me but the thing is I found out there are so many the thing that kind of turned that around for me is like oh wow, this is kind of annoying. Is there are so many fucking ways to kill people, both on purpose and by accident, that aren't old age. Ascending them counts,
Hmm.
sacrificing them in the to the whatever counts,
Yeah,
sending them a fight,
sacrificing fight pit count. It's
uh, feeding them a deadly meal counts,
mm-hmm.
uh, even sending them on like dumb missions or like letting them die of like exhaustion or sickness counts. It's ridiculous how many different ways there are to kill people.
Wait, why do you need to kill people though?
For the if you have the good die young trait, you
Yeah,
want your old people to die
yeah, because if
before
they
they die of
don't,
old age.
yeah, if they die of old age, it's a big faith hit. Which
What
does
do you gain from it though?
You gain like
everyone
plus
yeah, everyone
yeah
freaks out. They love it because
yeah.
whenever you sacrifice somebody, you get stat bonuses like or resource bonuses, things like
Mhm.
that. And if someone
Oh.
dies in the fight pit, there's just a big faith bonus because everyone's like, "Hell yeah, fight pit."
I love them.
See, I just went with
love
the
the fight
be
pit.
nice to old people because it gives you a ton of faith.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
I did the like respect, like the honor the dead, and then just made a ton of graves. And then I've never like I literally there was like everyone who died. I just brought them up, put them in a grave, put a grave on top of there, like the one that they can pray
Uh-huh.
at, and then literally never had a problem with faith again, and
I
just didn't do sermons.
I have one single grave in my entire village, and it's because I accidentally prepared a body for burial instead of harvesting them.
Now, the graves are overpowered.
I believe it, and I think it's really interesting because I think that Noah and I kind of landed in a different direction of the game, not in a bad way, just in like we decided to play differently.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel like from what it sounds like, you guys had a much harder time of it.
I think I don't necessarily feel well. My harder time I think is mostly because I'm playing at a higher difficulty. I don't.
Yeah, I'm on like the one above normal.
Yeah, I'm what it because there's is there 4 or
Well,
5? I'm gonna look it up.
there's four. There's easy, normal, hard, and very hard.
And I don't know, some parts of it have definitely made it easier, right? Like being able knowing that hey, if my faith is having a bad day, I can just send someone to the gulag and that's it. Like that's all it needs.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so
It's
people are
great.
happy if there are people in prison?
I no, sorry, I meant the gulag is in hell. Sorry.
Oh,
There is also keep prisoners happy, but the one that just hey, if nobody's in jail, you get bonus faith boosted.
yeah. That's my favorite. Is if there's no one in prison, everyone's
So
happy.
good. It's so good.
Yeah, that one's super good too.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I really have been enjoying it, and all this is we've been talking about this for like 15 minutes and complaining about it. We all really enjoy this game. These are all like nitpicky, like these are minor things compared to the fact that the game is really well done. I don't know. I think that there are definitely issues, but for the most part, I am enjoying it so much. There are weapons that I know that Noah doesn't like that I like, which I find like really fun. Like it really is no best weapon.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
a sword mostly, but like the hammer is
Oh
good, the
my
axe is
god.
good, the dagger sucks.
I
really love it.
agreed.
I love the claws. The claws are so good.
I've come around on the
Claws are fine.
claws. I
The
hate the
claws are bad
dagger.
until you realize how ridiculously long range that third hit is.
No, I've
Yeah,
known how
the
long that third
daggers are
range
just
is.
the daggers the problem.
My issue with the claws is that I need to not only do I need to land that third hit, I need to make it to the third hit.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because landing it easy, but getting there in the combo, I could
You can
either do
just-
that or I could do one hammer with my golden fleece at plus 1,130% damage.
That's true too. That is
Yeah,
true.
if you get a godly weapon,
Oh my god, I love that.
it's really like I think not fun.
See, I like it if there's an area that I'm having issues with.
I got a
Last
godly
time
weapon on
I-
the final boss fight, and I
Oh.
didn't. It just was like it was
No,
a godly sword, and I just like.
yeah, no, I get that because I got 3 daggers for my first run on the boss, assuming that it's who I think it is, and I was so bummed. It's like these are all daggers. I'm so disappointed. My next run though, I managed to get myself an axe, and it was so much easier. It wasn't even funny.
I actually really like the dagger once you get golden fleece underneath it. It's just
Yeah,
getting it to that point first, because
but you have to kill so much before that. But
no,
here's
100%.
here's my take
I
on
like to do
spells
the-
though. There are 2 options that are correct for spells.
Ooh,
I like them all.
I like them all. Yeah.
My favorites though, by
The homing one?
not even a short margin. Nope. I like the 2-second invincibility as a hammer
Yep.
main. I think that's
Yep.
important.
It's really
But
good.
most important to me is the sword, because the sword negates projectile.
It does. That is correct.
So if you have a
I
boss that attacks
did.
with those, you can negate the entire wave.
It's so good.
Yeah, I started with the cloak that gives you like double spell damage, half health.
Yeah.
And
That one's
I got
good.
like the homing projectiles, and you just like can't lose, and it's
Yeah.
not that fun. Like
Yeah.
I think it somehow broke the game because you
Mhm.
just one shot everything, and it drops enough fervor that you can one shot things again because now you have more fervor.
That's hot. I'm not gonna lie. That's really
Yeah,
hot.
I mean if you're struggling, it's an insane combination, but you have to like make it happen, and it's not like guaranteed.
Yeah. I really like any of the ice abilities are nice. Just get that extra like
I had
slowdown
some
is nice.
game breaking problems with the freeze though.
Oh, how so?
One of the spider bosses like does like a jump around thing,
Oh
and
yeah.
I froze it. It jumped up, and I'm not kidding you, just didn't come down.
Oh no.
I like killed all like the lackeys on screen. I waited around, and I waited probably about a minute and a half before I just like recalled.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, no, I had that happen once too, but it didn't have Frost involved, and he just stayed up there for some
He just
reason.
fucked off.
Yeah, well, because when you freeze him, like had him like frost, and then he like slowly jumped up, and I was like, oh, maybe he's just gonna slowly jump down, because that had already happened within the
Mhm.
fight. Like he just slowly jumped down, and he just never came back.
You just fucked off. I love it so much.
But luckily, yeah, I did have like the recall thing where you can just hold the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Same with one person that tries to make you like fight your homies.
Oh, you just recalled during that?
I just walked to the corner of the room and left.
Do they
That-
do they still show back up in your cult? Because I had to do that.
Yeah,
once.
they were fine.
Oh man, if I had known that.
See, I went res,
Yeah.
so I just took back the resurrection.
The first time it happened, I did kill the follower and I resurrected them. But the second time, it was Giblet, and I was like, I'm not killing Giblet, and I just went to the corner and
You just
recalled.
fucked off. That's amazing.
Because he sends like a couple the second time, and I just ran to the corner and disappeared. Yeah, and then I checked, and they were both happily at the village, and I was like, all right, well.
That's amazing. That's really good. I'm really curious to see if there's any post game content for this because
Yeah, we'll see.
I really
You can continue to play.
true, but like I want to continue to unlock things. I want there to be new stuff out there in the world.
Yeah, I wish there was more stuff.
I think that's been my problem since kind of the very beginning. Is that it definitely does feel like even where I'm at right now, like I do feel like I plowed through the management portion of the game so quickly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I also I love it, but I want more stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very curious to see if it'll get like mod support or if there is more like content planned.
Are there not any mods for it yet?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's only been like a week and a half.
There's probably some, but none that are like widely available and widely talked about and like big quality of life changes. I'm sure people have modded the game. I'm not sure that there's super good access to it.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if people are waiting until the initial bug fix wave dies down, because there's definitely a lot in that ballpark. I think I've gotten an update every day.
Yeah. It's it definitely has it's so good. It's just it definitely feels like there's more that can be done with it. That's what it is. I think it's really good. I think it just doesn't feel like it's at its peak yet. I think there's more that they can do with it in just a lot of different ways.
I don't know, but I guess we'll find out eventually, right? Most likely, I think what's going to happen is that they're going to add the option to just tick a tutorial box that says I've finished the game, like
Mhm.
once you've already finished. You know, that way you don't have to go through the tutorial portion of a new game.
God, it
just
takes-
the
tutorial
beginning
takes
of it.
fucking forever.
It does just take a long time. Because you can disable tutorials so that it doesn't pop up little things saying this is what this does. But I also don't want to have to go through the steps of having my little rat man tell me what to do.
I love him though. He's so friend shaped.
Yeah, and that's why I gambled him to death and stole all his money.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think that's
probably
about
as good a point as any
about
to
it
wrap,
for
and
this
we're kind of
week,
a little
right?
over time. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for listening this week, everyone. Tune in next week when I feel like I need to drop a little, hey, tune in next week for a cool thing to happen. But since we kind of freeball it the whole time anyway, I could literally say almost anything. Like last time I said Dan drops a controversial take, and this week Dan said I don't think games should have replayability. So I was right.
I think games should have forced replayability. How's that? I think that's a better way to phrase that take. But I still stand by it. I stand by the game should not have forced replayability.
Damn.
Stupid.
No
Not-
game has forced anything. Just get up.
Just close your eyes.
I've never been playing a game and been like, I'm forced to play. I've been like, that.
Just walk
ya.
away from the computer. LOL.
Just don't play.